Okay, it does appear that we are live.
All right. Squid School begins now.
I feel like there's like a passing period, you know, like we
It begins.
the,
It
the the
happens
bell
after
rang at
the
the
ad.
bell rang at the end of the
Yo,
last class. You know, we got to give the kids a little bit of time to trickle in. Hi there, Doovie.
Yeah.
Doovie has a class that's just next door, and she loves
Yeah.
being here.
Yeah.
So she just already has her stuff ready to go. Doesn't have to go to her locker. Doesn't have to use the bathroom or anything. She's just always
sorry,
here.
I was rearranging my entire apartment and lost track of time. So
Simon, meanwhile, rearranges his locker in between, going
Yeah.
to the last class and coming here. So it takes him a little longer, but it's still pretty nearby. It's not like he has to come all the way from the gym or anything like that.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Is that a... What is that emote? That's a guy named Craig, I guess. Hi, Craig.
Craig.
Totally didn't speed walk home. Drive today? Oh, no. Okay, so maybe Debbie's classroom is a little further away and she just walks fast.
Yeah.
I remember in middle school and I was like, oh, I need to get to class on time, and we inexplicably had shorter passing periods than we do in high school, despite the fact that we're smaller children. And so I learned how to speed walk better than anyone should ever have to get from class to class. It must have been really intense watching my little 6-year-old legs reach out that far for each step. Should have gotten into race walking.
Yeah. Yeah. I just live in the classroom. I live underneath the desk.
Yeah. What was that old Calvin and Hobbes strip where the teacher's like, yeah, you probably think that we live in coffins inside the classroom, don't you?
Yes.
Sleepwalking is all in the hips. Speed walking, I know, but I kind of like
Sleepwalking, though.
sleepwalking.
I just like that sentence.
As if we can like practice our form while not conscious that we're even walking in the first place.
That's very anime. Unintentional walking.
that's literally the lore of a Demon Slayer character.
Is it really?
Yeah, his whole thing is he's absolutely hopeless when he's awake, but when he gets really freaked out, he falls asleep, and then he's like one of the most powerful characters when he's asleep.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he practiced so much that he knows all the forms and stuff, but he can't do them when he's awake. He can only do them when he's asleep.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, let's get a little bit of league going just to give people time to trickle in before the lesson begins. But then it's a special edition today. We don't actually have any players that we're going to be VOD reviewing today. We are going to instead be looking at top 8 of Riptide. Riptide, for those who don't know, was a major Splatoon LAN, the first of its kind that has happened in a very long time because of COVID. And so it's going to be interesting to watch to see, where the state of the game is at. And for players who are a little bit less familiar with the competitive scene, it can be a really great learning opportunity and give you some good names to look out for. So I've got a League Quad room open, so Simon and Avery can hop in there.
We're gonna just have a random, or would you guys like to do duos in the meantime while we wait for people to trickle in?
We could do duos if are you
Yeah.
saying you'd offer to sit out, Simon?
I'll sit out. Yeah, I'll watch you and
Okay.
Avery play.
Sure.
All right.
I gotta learn the way of the chicken from Avery.
Debbie, I know exactly why
chicken
you're choosing.
techniques.
You're specifically saying set 1 game 5. I understand why you are saying it. We will instead be talking about, I believe it was winners finals game 3, because I think that is a better illustration, and almost nobody knows why I'm saying that, but
Yeah,
It
see,
makes
I was
sense.
watching Riptide, but I didn't even know that they had Splatoon at Riptide. I was watching the Smash side of things.
Yeah.
I was watching the Melee stuff.
It's interesting how that kind of sneaks up on people sometimes. But yeah.
Yeah, you told me that there was a major, and I was like, oh, cool, what was it? And then you're like, Riptide. I'm like, huh?
Debbie was like, he caught on. Darn it. So there was a silver arrow spray that was used in grand finals of Riptide Splatoon, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I actually watched that set. I took up Silver Arrow Spray myself. I've been playing it in ranked. On every mode, actually.
Why do you say these things to me? Why do you cause me such pain?
That was
Uh,
just a really cool weapon.
Avery, the room is up. It's our typical password.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot it for a second, so I put it in wrong the first time, but
Gotcha.
I'm joining now.
Perfect.
All right.
All right.
I'm rolling
Clamblitz,
my brush.
Sniper, and humpback. I'll just go with this. This is not a bad weapon for this.
Let's go. I'm excited to slap once again with my brush.
DV. DV. What's the matter, Devi?
Debbie.
Devi. Silver arrow spray and Grand's gem and shambles. Okay, look, I'm gonna talk about it, but spoiler alert: the arrow spray is not the reason that they won that game at all. the arrow, the arrow spray was the Rainmaker carrier. Okay, their entire job was to use a different weapon. I am being pushed really hard on the right side here.
We actually have a meme based around exactly what you just said, which is in MOBA terms, which is space created. You know, maybe you got 2v1'd under your own tower, but that was time that they could have been doing something else. We call that space created.
Same kind of concept as zoning ultimates, you know? Sometimes they don't hit, but like they still help.
Sometimes you throw rain on, the tower and no one on their team is alive, and we call that a zoning ultimate.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
Ah, man. I thought my teammate knew we were tracking this guy down and was going to look for them. I didn't think that they were just going to get ambushed like that. Alrighty, well.
Oh, I'm not good with the jet special. I forgot what it's called.
Inkjet.
Inkjet. That's
we can
it.
talk about that actually if you want to. Like we can do some stuff in the. Oh, there was a flank. Wonderful. We can do some stuff in the training room to practice that, because that is one of the more technically demanding specials in the game. It's not super easy to use, and there are some tips that we can give about them. Man, we're just kind of getting blown up here. Double brush is not the easiest comp to play with. Not saying that that's your fault or anything, because we get random teammates.
I'm pretty rusty. I'm like looking at this and I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing too hot today.
Well, we got one, but it's not enough. There's one coming on the right side. You can probably see him across the way there, Avery.
Ooh,
Nice.
got one.
Good shot. Still one in the corner right here. Got him.
Alright.
I'm trying to get some paint so that we can see where people come from here. A little worried about this right side. Okay, they're coming down from the middle. Two in the middle. Oh. Okay, good follow-up. Oh man, they're going in. Come on, Paulosaur!
Ah!
Okay, Paulosaur did not have that. under control. Oh, man. Oh, good, they missed. There's another one. They backed up.
I got the clam. Or the big one. Ah, I'm done. Oh, this is not my squid day.
These guys are definitely, if not X rank, very close to it. Oh, no. Oh, let's go Paolo. Yo, we save those. We get those in. No, we don't, because he grabbed it and then fell off the ledge with it.
Oh. Should have.
Yeah, that was a fun play.
The splashdown was really good. I'll give him that much. Oh man, they're so weak, but I can't push that because they're gonna heal up before I get to them. They're just sharking right over there. Go teammate, go! Go to teammate, teammate. Over this way. Oh no. Oh no, teammate.
Oh no, teammate.
We flee.
Now we run.
Well, I missiled them because I saw that there was someone with a clam over there. I was like, let's give them some opportunities to get in. And then they just died as soon as the missiles went off, so I wasted the missiles. So if we don't have a power clam in 5 seconds, we lose.
Oh. Wow.
So yeah, work in progress.
I was sniped with a splat bomb. Holy moly. Dang.
Oh hey, Dio's here.
Banky, are you referring to me?
Here. Dio's here to talk about aerospray, of course.
I don't know.
Confuse your allies before you can confuse your enemies. Yes, yes, of course.
That's my best play.
Confuse yourself before you confuse anyone else. If you don't know what you're doing, no one will. That is actually a strat. Like, Mango talks about that in Melee, that, like, sometimes he'll just kind of roll the stick around at random, and whatever, you know, DI he gets out of that, he gets.
You know, I do that a lot, actually. You know, I do it a lot when I miss tech and I have to roll.
So Avery, I'm gonna pull up the ttek here and show you some stuff about inkjet real quick.
Yeah.
The unfortunate part about this is that I have to farm the special before I can use it here. So I'm going to try and talk as much as I can about it before I go up for the demonstration. But
Yeah.
so, a couple things about Inkjet. Number one, it's one of the most vulnerable specials in the game. You have a really powerful weapon, but you're actually more of a target, an easier target, up there while you're inkjetting than you are just like with your feet on the ground. Because you move slower, your entire hitbox is visible, so like there's no cover that you're really going to be able to get behind unless you're like going into squid form. And you don't have any extra armor or anything like that you might get with, say, the invincibility frames on a splashdown or the armor on a booyah bomb or anything like that. So it's a really unsafe special if you use it from the wrong place. So the most important thing to do with the inkjet is to find a location where your jump is safe and you're going to be able to get high enough that a short-range weapon can't just like shoot up at you. You'll always be able to just like get sniped, so you've got to worry about that. But at least, you know, if you're trying to inkjet like a splatter shot or something, if you get a little bit of height advantage before you pop it and then you fly up from there, they literally can't like aim high enough to hit you, and so you'll be relatively safe from there. So start where you started is important. Another thing is that because you're so out there and vulnerable, there's some additional movement stuff that people will do to avoid being shot out of it. One thing that they will do is go into squid form, because number one, going into squid form makes you dip quickly in the air. It makes you fall back down to the ground. So, for example, if you inkjetted on tower and then realize, wait, I need to be sitting on tower to score, you can just kind of drop back down onto the tower in squid form and you won't rise up above it. You'll also be stealthed that way, so maybe if you need to like duck down, swim a little bit, and then pop back up in the inkjet, you can do that sort of thing. But on top of that, being in squid form makes you smaller. You're a smaller target while you are a squid. Your hitbox is just smaller. So it makes you a little bit harder to hit when you're doing that. And obviously the disadvantage of it is that you can't shoot while you're doing that. So you don't want to be in squid form the whole time, but maybe you like flick into and out of squid form every now and again in between shots.
Okay.
The
Question.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when you go into squid form, though, doesn't that, like, kind of hinder your aim? And, like, you don't have a height advantage of being able to shoot down people?
So you're only going to flick it. You're only going... So it's like, think about swim strafing, you know? You're just kind of going back and forth. And, like, yeah, I'm not able to shoot while I'm doing that, but it's such a small change in the direction, small change in the aim, that it's often worth it. I wouldn't do that all the time. Usually what I'm doing is, if nobody's looking at me, then I'll move around left and right and maybe press the B button, because the B button makes you jet upwards a little bit, so that can be a way to clear obstacles in front of you that you're just a little too short for.
Okay.
So that's also something you can do. But if I'm able to just free fire and nobody's actually on me trying to, you know, shoot me down, I'll usually not go into squid form in between shots. That's provided I know where the backliner is and I'm not just going to get, like, sniped or something, and that nobody's currently pressuring me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, if somebody's just not looking at me, I'll just stand there and shoot them, right? But
Yeah.
if somebody is paying attention, then I need to get a little bit more dodgy. So that's kind of the movement that you're thinking with your inkjet. Start from a good place where you get height advantage. Fire as many shots as you can, but definitely, you know, be dipping and ducking around as much as you can while you're using the special so that you don't get shot out of it. And the other thing that's really challenging with this special is that you have to lead your shots so much. It's a very slow-moving projectile, and it has a longer range than most main weapons. So anticipating where they're about to be and firing far enough ahead of them can be challenging. So you can see I'm kind of like using the jump, using the duck, not making very good shots because I'm trying to demonstrate the movement tech more than I need to. But that's sort of the idea, that you'll like kind of do mix-ups between, am I going to boost up, am I going to duck down, make it difficult for them to guess which direction you're going to be going. Then as for damage, a direct will one-shot unless they have armor, an indirect will two-shot, and a further out indirect will three-shot. So that shot was a further out indirect. Actually, that only did 30, so that won't even three-shot. That was a direct. So I think it's like 30, 60, and 150 are your damage numbers there.
Okay.
So I'll do one more run and actually try and like aim like I would. So you can see kind of how far away you need to adjust for, you know, leading your shots. So that was a direct, that was good, that was good. This is slower moving, so I need to hit closer in front of it, but so that's about all we need to talk about there.
Okay. Interesting. Very cool.
All right. Good skirmish support weapon. He says, are we talking about Aerospray again? Similar to ink brush, but more paint focused.
Maybe talking about Octobrush.
Oh yeah, Octobrush. That would make sense.
That's what I'm using right now.
More paint focused. That's interesting. I really don't know. I guess because it's longer range, it would probably pay better. But I usually think of like the permanent ink brush, for example, as more of the painting weapon than the octobrush is. Because like that's a weapon that can get like 4-second armors. It's really absolutely absurd how fast that weapon farms armor. I've got the pairs lobby back up, by the way.
Yeah.
Inkjet is the only time you have an excuse to squid bag. Correct.
Mm.
That or certain Rainmaker shortcuts. As Squid School starts, I get asked for advice on how to captain in DMs. If I'm the teacher, then you're like the guidance counselor, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
You get a clutch kill on stream. I don't know. I always think it's cooler when people don't squid bag, just kind of keep playing the game. It's like, nah, it was nothing. I don't need to celebrate. That was just business as usual. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta be like that blues guitarist who rips this nasty solo and then just looks out into the audience as they cheer like, what? There are 3 splooshes on the other team. There's one on me, and it's the non-sploosh. Got the non-sploosh.
Graded.
Okay, that's most of the splooshes. Just pick the clams up. Oh my god, give each other... Holy crap, guys, come on.
Squid Game?
We
What's
lost
that?
so much time to all that fumbling with the clams. We got it figured out, though. You can start scoring there, Avery, and we'll try and protect you as you do.
I got no... Oh,
I almost had another one in. Alright. I like how this person spells farted with a PH.
I love that.
Like, I don't know exactly what they're going for with that, but like the attitude of it, I appreciate.
I love it so much.
Okay, shoot missiles while I'm watching you. Cool. Very pog.
Very pog.
Well,
oh!
Ooh, okay, a good splashdown cancel. I was worried that was going to be a triple for them. Hey.
No! Dang it!
Well, we got him. Just a couple splooshes we've got to attend to. We should watch the left-hand side and make sure they don't come over there. Oh, yeah, that was what I was worried about. Alright. I think we just kind of shoot these and go. There's the one guy over there that I can kind of ignore because he doesn't have the range. Neat. Okay. Let me get to score some more. A couple people dropping down. It would be good to pay attention to those when they drop down. Especially since you already had teammates scoring.
Ah, yes.
Because, like, they can keep the basket open, and if you can keep them safe, you're going to get more points in than if you just unload all your clams right away. It's always good to have someone defending the clam push. Where is that? Oh, no, they're jumping to behind our basket.
Uh-oh.
That's annoying. Oh, we wiped them. Neat.
Yes.
There was a beacon at our basket that I got rid of, but we got to watch out for those, because they do have... it's actually only one player who has them. I thought it was 2 for a second.
Oh,
I think we save those. No, we don't.
Mm.
There's one coming right, probably top right. Yeah, top right. I see what you're doing, Squid. I have a map. That is one of the really huge utilities of the map. That if someone's doing something cheeky in your base, you can spot it very quickly.
Yeah.
What even hit me? Oh, a curling bomb, okay. It looks like nobody's in between that and
Oh.
the basket, unfortunately.
Oh,
Got
that's
two.
a
It's
that's a
just
wipe.
your last.
That's a wipe.
Mhm.
I have no clam. I need.
Now, you won't be able to score in time, but what you can do is paint the map so that when we get back, we have a shorter path that we have to paint
I'm done.
to get to the basket
Yeah.
again.
That would have been smart.
Oh, they're just going to run it in. Right. Well. Oh, they went the long way. They could have just run straight to our basket from there. We need to stop them in our trench.
Got him.
Oh, no.
Oh, I got one, but there is two.
Okay, we wiped them.
I got a claim.
This is a weird game.
Oh, almost traded.
I didn't need that, teammate. In fact, I really don't want it. Okay, there we go. There we go.
Well, game.
All right.
Not bad.
How much have I missed? We haven't gotten into the VOD review at all yet, Brock. We're still doing a little bit of League to make sure that people are able to get in here, notice that we're streaming, you know.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
11 splats. That's pretty good for me. I'm gonna be right back. Just 2 seconds. Hold on.
Yeah, Brock, remind me what team you were on. I remember seeing a match that you were in.
Fine. I am back.
Really good considering I went in washed. That's right. I'm not gonna say the name because I know what the answer to that is. CD's what? But I approve. Yeah. Okay, so Avery's all set, it looks like.
I'm good to go.
Let's go, Woomies.
We ride into battle. Or we swim.
Ride the wake of the ink. Yes.
The wave of ink.
There we go, we're surfers.
That's right.
I like this like chocolatey voice that you're using here. That's right.
Well, yes. All right. Okay. Let's see here.
Someone on the right. Okay, that's a check. I'm down.
Oh, I'm down.
Ugh.
That was a really good roller hit.
I should have figured from looking at the map and seeing the ink pattern they were painting. You don't get to go through there yet. You still don't get to go through there. The trick is you never get to go through there.
Access denied. How did I? Oh!
Oh, man. Roller was able to get through. Oh, but they missed! That's clutch. Sometimes all you gotta do is apply some pressure, and someone will throw it before they're able to because you forced them to do it quickly.
Yeah? Huh?
Unfortunately, we didn't actually get out of this situation.
No, this roller
Still a
has
roller
been
down there.
destroying me.
And I should have hit those shots a lot earlier, but it's fine, because they missed as well.
Woo! I got him! I got him!
Nice. There's another one coming left. Is there anyone in between them? And yeah, there is.
Yeah, and they're flanking behind
I hit them twice. Unfortunately, they got away. Well, nobody's watching that. All right, good stuff.
Two down.
Good stuff. Last one's in mid.
I got 8 clams on me.
So you are the furthest forward. Be a little careful.
Yep.
Got a teammate with you now. Hi there, K-Shot. Please go away. Ah, darn. Roller was with him. That's good team play by the Roller. Always shoot the guy that's shooting your teammate.
Yep.
Nah.
Got the
Okay,
roller.
Good job, good job. There's still a K-Shot there.
Oh, got the. I think that was a K shot.
Nice. That was good defense. Now we need to get a little bit more offense going here. We're having a really hard time pushing into mid and taking control.
Yeah.
Oh, hi there, Roller. Man. The thing is, the answer to that is paint, and I feel like
Dang it.
we're not getting enough paint down. Like, if you just paint far enough ahead of you, the Roller can do pretty much nothing. They're just going to get outraged.
Those were good rockets. I'm down.
So, I've taken that angle against the Jet Sculpture too many times, and they're looking for it. Not that it was ever good in the first place. Roller's in mid, and there's someone trying to push up the basket. Roller's weak. Got him. Watch out for the missiles.
Traded.
All right.
And bag is open. The thing, the clam thing. The thingy.
Trying to sneak in there with one more.
Yep, there's one flanking our place right now.
Yeah, we've got a teammate watching
wow.
it.
I tried getting them.
They're rotating back to the middle. They've been going left a lot and then getting stopped and going back to the middle afterward.
Oh, I traded with the roller at the near our.
Got the K-Shot. There's one trying to come after this power clam, and I'm going to back him off. All right. Mission accomplished there. Do we have a power clam? No, we don't. We need to make a power clam. Or else the game ends in 8 seconds.
Oh, I didn't even notice that person.
We are all down,
That's
and
it.
so that is game.
Oof. Ooh.
Peep jousting. You get 2 peeps, stick a toothpick in them, and microwave them. They expand, and then whichever one pops via the toothpick loses?
What? Eh?
Pops via... But you said stick a toothpick in them, right? So, like, aren't they already stuck with it? That is really funny, though. Yeah, I was there for the G7 fire alarm. The fire alarm went off at about 5 in the morning on one night of Genesis 7. And so the entire hotel, you know, freaking 17 floors or something of it, had to empty down the stairway.
Oof.
And
that's happened like 3 times to me on different hotels.
So we all
always super
emerge
late.
in our pajamas on the bottom floor, and you're just like, oh, hey, there's Esam playing rock, paper, scissors with someone. And everyone's gathered around, and they're making bets on it. That's right, we're at Genesis 7. This is accurate. Oh, hey, SS Mario 92. I think that's a TO. I think they've run a bunch of stuff before. They're a pretty experienced player.
That's not good for us. Not good for me, at least.
I mean, if they're on our team, yeah. They're on our team.
Oh, I didn't even realize they were on our team. Oh, it's very good. I take back that. It just said.
There's a squeezer on the other team. We're going to talk about the squeezer today, because it is my humble opinion that the squeezer is one of the strongest weapons in the game right now, and I think that there were a lot of demonstrations of that fact in Riptide.
Every time you say Squeezer, I just think of the band Weezer, but with an S.
I think of Carl Weezer.
SQ.
There's probably
Squeezer.
a Splatoon meme image that has been made.
I would love to see it, and if it's not made, someone make it.
Don't tempt me. I might.
Darn it, they saw that coming. A little too obvious for a 2100 level lobby. He's trying to just juggle a clam over to the left.
We were talking about a Bravous Splatfest, and that'll be what the Splatfest is over. What meme image gets to appear in the bottom right of the screen?
Shh.
Mm-hmm.
What? Where was that bomb?
Oh.
Am I blind? I have no idea where that bomb came from. It must have been like right on screen. Like people must be looking at their screens like, what the heck? How did he not see it? But yeah, I had no idea what was going on there. Oh no.
We should get eye tracking. That'd be so hype. I guess it'd be kind of hard to set up for console recording though, huh?
Maybe, yeah, because I'm not looking at the screen that the web. I guess I could put the webcam on top of the TV screen. It would be a tough thing to do spatially though, to put it on top of the second monitor. Get your bubbles out of here. Cut that out.
We don't want no bubbles.
On my ouch is Tri-Slosh. Teammates after him, nice. Alright.
There's so many clams on the floor.
Yeah. We don't want those to be on the floor near our basket. We want them near their basket. There's two on the right, threatening the rail.
Oh. One on the, I think that's...
Yeah, one dropped on me. Yeah. Nautilus held it down for us. That's good. There's one on the rail. It's the squeezer, so of course they can hit me from over there. Traded with the carbon. Squeezer's still on the right.
Oops, I didn't even realize I had that active.
Oh no. Where am I jumping to then? Okay.
Oh, I couldn't get away.
Yeah, our teammates backed way up. There might be one coming left, but we need to worry about what's in front of us too.
Oh.
Yeah,
dang.
I got him! Nice.
Nice.
That was one of the smarter bombs I've thrown. Okay, we beat out the bomb rush. Not that that was a particularly scary bomb rush, but... Oh no. It's just us, Avery.
It's just you.
Alright. There's one behind me, isn't there? No, there isn't. This must have just been bomb explosions. Where is that coming from? Is that the squeezer over here?
Ooh.
Apparently it was the squeezer over there. We figured it out. I think I
Hello,
remember
Sibolendo.
seeing someone bringing their CRT when we evacuated. Yeah. CRTs are a limited resource. We must save them.
Oh, I did not do good that game.
Eh. You did as well as our teammate did.
Oh, all right, I'll take it. I'll take it.
But yeah, we weren't able to get a lot of offense going there. I think I have an old CRT in the garage. Sell it to a melee player. They'll love you forever. As long as it's got the AV inputs. The really old ones that, like, don't even have any inputs for peripherals, okay, those you're a little bit more stuck with, but just needs a yellow and a white.
I got a communications error.
Yep, same.
Oh no.
Alright, we'll give him a different cat this time. This is Navi.
At.
That is Babs's cat.
Ah.
Look at that heavenly boy.
Very good. Good boy.
Room is up.
Yep. I'm in it.
Cool. But yeah, for those who don't know, Super Smash Bros. Melee was on the GameCube, which ran in 480i. So not 480p, okay? P stands for progressive scan. That means every frame you're getting the whole image. 480i means it's interlaced, which means you're only getting about half the image every frame. And on top of that, you know, 720 at this point is starting to go obsolete, which is what the Switch runs on. So, you know, 480 is back there. And you have to scale the image differently in the aspect ratio that Melee's in. Melee is 4:3 instead of being 16:9. So there is a lot of weirdness that goes into the image processing of a CRT TV compared to a modern TV, which means that Melee actually runs better on old TVs than new ones. I definitely could have kept that open. That's my fault. So that was actually a really good situation for us. Kind of missed the scoring opportunity. Well, let's just make ourselves a new one, shall we?
All right.
Oh, I thought I was in range. I was wrong. Did we just win the game? Yeah, wow.
Wow. Wow. Dang.
That was wild.
That really was.
Nope, Switch is 720p. No 1080 required. It is 16:9, which, you know, 1080p and 720p are both the same ratio. So they're, you know, gonna fit on the same screen, but it's not that impressive. Switch is 4K. My uncle works in Nintendo.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Lucky bastard. 1080 docked and 720 handheld. That sounds right. That could be.
Yeah.
Because I know it's a hardware limitation that causes it to be 720p, and that would probably only matter if it were the screen of the Switch. Yeah, you might be right there. Yeah, there have been some gnarly rotations for maps lately. the less competitively viable maps are like all in rotation. You got your kelp domes, you got your morays, you got all of the bad Schellendorfs. There are some Schellendorfs that are acceptable, but just a lot of Port Mackerel as well, a lot of Walleye Warehouse, just really nasty lockout maps. I like Camp Triggerfish, but a lot of people don't, and Camp Triggerfish is also in the rotations right now. It's just like, what are the least popular maps in Splatoon 2? Let's put them all in the same rotation.
Oh, they're flanking. Oh no! Didn't even notice.
That player did a really smart thing there. They knew their teammate was scoring, so instead of like trying to throw their clams at the same time, they turned to attack the player who was trying to defend and protect the scoring player. That's something that the Top 500 players talked about in the How to Get Top 500 video that'll be coming out. And I've been editing recently, so it's on my mind.
Oh.
Oh, I almost had him. I think I was doing damage to between two different players, because I definitely hit 4 shots there.
There's one right by your base.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's still a couple in front, but I got the one that had the closest run to it. We might be able to just kind of drop in the
chicken.
mid here.
Enemy chicken. Enemy chicken destroyed.
All right, good work, good work.
Fly, my chicken.
Dare they
My
use your chickens against you?
I've been flanked. They're heading to our base. Uh-oh.
There's one in our base, but they don't have the clam there yet. Okay, they're gonna inkjet, and they're
painting.
The power clam should jump to that. Well, maybe not. They don't have a lot of follow-up. Okay, the fact that we didn't punish that effectively was a little oof, but we got him. This is the school of thought of just run the ink brush with the power clam into the base and hope nobody has the accuracy to shoot it.
Oh, I was flying over to the basket.
It is a strategy you see a lot in like A rank, and that does not survive very far past A rank.
Yeah.
1v1 me, bro. 1v1 me.
Do it.
See, the thing is they're 2v1ing me. That was the smart thing for them to do. Okay, good. I'm glad Big Attack did not miss. Otherwise, that would have been a total loss. But instead, because they won that, we get to score. But you're the only one up, so up to you whether it's safe to go in.
Nope, I was completely surrounded by bombs. Ooh, got him. Got him!
Good, got him, because I was focusing on something else.
Good, got him. Good, got him, good.
Way to got him.
Good, got him. Way to got him, good. I'm down.
Ooh, I need to jump back.
There's one outer base. They're probably gonna get jumped too. And they did. Dang it!
They literally just jumped a single individual clan.
Oh no!
Okay, we have a lot of map control right now, and we've got a lot of picks. 2 going left. Can we get a power clam to you?
Oh, what? How did I not get them? Dang it. Nice.
Okay, I guess that gets us lead.
That works.
Nice. Good
2 down.
follow-up. I got you.
It's not open.
Yeah, no. I was trying to throw them to you to make a power clam.
Oh, oops.
Oh, I got 2 with missiles. You need to just not let that guy through, and we're good. Are we letting that guy through? Okay, good. We're not letting that guy through. There's another one trying to come up over the top. Another 2. Got one of them. Nice.
Nice.
Triple
That was close.
wall on camp zones. Why triple?
The ultimate wall.
That's strange to me. Because you're using it to block the zone so that the other team literally just can't even paint the zone. I guess maybe one of them is for the front of your own zone? Trying to figure out what they would all be used for there. You could also just like have one player throw a wall, and then as soon as that one goes down, have the next player throw a wall in front of it, and just kind of rotate walls, moving forward, like ratcheting up the zone. That would be funny. Counter to the other team's comp. Okay, that makes sense. Maybe trying to wall out a charger or something. Well, no, that wouldn't really work there because the charger's going to have height advantage.
たくさんに日本語だな。
Sigma from Overwatch.
Overwork.
Everyone's favorite 5v6 PC shooter.
Oh, ah! Down.
Well, this is bad. Sometimes you just get away with it. I should die. I'm not gonna die.
I should die.
There was a bamboo staring me in the face, and I had no cover. There were a lot of things wrong with that positioning, but it worked out.
It's all fine. Watch, how did I trade? Okay. Alright.
I probably shouldn't have thrown those to the Luna. The Luna was probably trying to sneak up on him. They're not using Ninja Squid, though. I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe, maybe not. That person's weak. Nice.
Down. I got him.
And I should be able to get power clam from that.
Nice.
Yeah, the aim is not X rank level here.
No.
I should not be able to just take a face-to-face fight with a 52. Ow. Okay, 2 for 1. We are a little bit split. Nice. Hello. Thank you.
What? I landed on their wall. uh,
Okay, I thought I had it. There. Whistle those.
ooh, ah. I'm down.
Ah. Got a little
Dang.
greedy. They're moving okay.
They're at.
Just clear out the basket. Make sure there's nobody sharking. Well,
Should be here.
that's where they went.
Oh.
Okay, I'm disrespecting the aim a little bit too much here. I should really be moving more than that. They got too close.
Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
That's one. And there's still one up there.
Oh no.
Oh, shoot. There's still one under the basket. They're trying to get clams in. Darn.
No.
Okay, that's 3 down. As long as we keep the bamboo away. They don't actually have
Got
enough
9.
MPU.
Got 9. Oh. Yeah. Come on. Come on.
We need more clams. That'll do it. There we go.
No. Oh
Oof.
yeah. That was close.
Yeah, that was definitely closer than it had to be.
Yeah.
Got it done, though. All right. So that'll be our power.
Yeah.
All right, not bad, not bad.
1871.
And I am going to switch us over now to looking at Riptide stuff.
All right. Cool, cool.
So for those who don't know, there was a there was a tournament called Smash and Splash, which was a very cool event where it was run out of a water park, an indoor water park. So you had, you know, a party room where you could go and play the game, but then just like within the same hotel you were staying, there was also, you know, fun water park stuff to do. So people would, you know, come in and have a swimsuit on, and then as soon as their pool was over, they'd go jump in a literal pool, and it was great. The problem was there were some issues with mismanagement. A lot of TOs spoke out against it and kind of walked out on it. And Riptide was positioned at Genesis 7 as a, you know, tap on the side of the nose replacement for Smash and Splash. They did not advertise for Smash and Splash at all. They instead advertised for Riptide. And the name itself, you know, the Riptide, you know, kind of pulling the rug out from under the feet of Smash and Splash. So that was kind of the idea behind this tournament. It was a really cool idea for kind of a LAN major. Splatoon was going to be there, and Smash was going to be there, and then COVID happened. So Riptide ended up getting rescheduled to just recently. And now, it not on top of, you know, being awesome, fun water park tournament in Ohio, it also happened to be kind of the first big major LAN back from COVID. A lot of the time, you know, you have a tournament that's an online major, issues can come up with things like lag and latency, and you know, even if someone's got the best connection possible, there's going to be some kind of speed of light delay between your ability to see what they're actually seeing on their screen and interact with the game state the way that it's meant to be. So LANs are really, really cool. One thing, for example, that Chara especially likes about them is that Brellas are a lot less likely to get shot through the Brella, because that can happen if it's a laggy connection. It doesn't register that the Brella was up, even though it was up on the Brella player's screen. It might not be on the attacker's screen, and since it prioritizes the attacker getting the hit that they saw, the Brella kind of just gets the short end of the stick there, and it's not as good on online play. But it's a lot better in LAN play, and so we see Chara in, you know, on Team Climb. I think we have a match or two of Chara's to watch here, going with the Brella more often. So things like that are really cool to see, and it's also just a wonderful time to go and see people in person. To get all of the people who you know see on Twitter, see on the internet, in a room with you and be able to interact with them. So we're gonna start off. Popgun with his IPL sticker and his Splatoon mask, of course. Popgun is our friend here on the left, and I say our friend very seriously. He is subbed for the Grillers at one point in time. During Genesis. So we met him at a LAN. I have slept in the same bed as that man at a hotel in a LAN. We're close. So anyway, he's a great community supporter. He's someone who knows everything that is going on at the mid and low level of Splatoon. Very much in line with kind of the Bravous mindset of support the low-level and mid-level players on their way up the ladder, get people to the point where they can sustain themselves in a competitive environment, because that's the way to really get people into the scene. Popgun really embraces that wholeheartedly, so big fan of him. Anyway, he's going to be one of our commentators here. What we're watching here is winners finals, so in a double elimination format. This is not the end of the tournament, but this is the loser of this is guaranteed third place, and the winner is guaranteed second place. So that's kind of where they're at right now. Right now, not FTWin. Yeah, okay, they're FTWin. They were 3 members of FTWin plus a sub, Leafy, who is cracked, by the way. In case any of you follow my Twitter, I retweeted some Nautilus shots that Leafy was getting. Just the fastest quad you've ever seen in your life. It was disgusting. Anyway, so they're absolutely cracked. FTWin is the best team in North America, hands down. The majors that they have not won are the exception to the rule. I think every single major that they have had all 4 members of their team in attendance for, they have won. They are just undefeated in that context. And they do really well against Japanese teams as well. So they're the obvious favorites for winning the tournament here. Starburst, though, are no slouches. Starburst is made up of, let's see if we can get the list of players. Did they show that here? Oh, right, this isn't the beginning of the set.
And here comes
and again, this is wing 1.
Come on, show me the players.
Look at Gio.
Huh? Players? Player names? Player names, please. Oh, we had it. Okay, cool. Took me a little out of my way. But, so Starburst is a team consisting of what used to be known as Hanron. Hanron was a competitive Splatoon 1 team, very well known, very, very strong competitive legacy. They've always been, when they were competing, one of the top, 3 or 4 teams in North America, as far as I can see from the records that I can find online. Bran was like an original founding member of that team. The King Dog here is actually Ant, who is also played under the Hanron name, as has Ice. I don't know exactly how far back Ant and Ice's history with the team goes, because when I was looking that team up online, they didn't show up on the roster, but I've also found YouTube videos where they're on the roster. So maybe Brock can fill me in there. I know Brock would know that sort of thing for sure. But both of these teams are kind of legends. And the part we're looking at here is, let's see, 118 here. Okay.
Zone, so they're gonna go.
I'm just going to freeze it here for a second, and y'all tell me what's wrong with this picture. So, this is what could be the deciding game of Winners Finals. Starburst is down 2-0. They pull out a silver arrow spray. Now...
Is it because they didn't pull it out earlier? Is that the mistake?
So, what I'm going to do is we're going to watch this game, and I'm going to point out kind of the impact that the arrow spray is having on the game. Because I'm not going to go out and say that it has no impact, okay? That's just not true. It is a very high paint volume weapon, and it has a special that can definitely be impactful in certain situations. So we're going to talk about it and what it's doing. It's worth noting that this is a Rainmaker match, and this is actually the same map mode that they pull it out on in the Grand Finals set. We're not going to watch the whole Grand Finals set. I don't want to, give spoilers for that for people who haven't seen it. It's also just, go watch Grand Finals. Like, what are you even doing? This is the first major LAN in a while. Go watch it. But we'll go through the match.
Was that a silver arrow spray?
Oh my
Pika,
lord.
where are you at?
So...
Is
you can hear, the commentator's reaction to that. Is that a silver arrow spray? Ah! That's kind of, where everyone's mind is at. I don't see anything especially out of the ordinary with the builds here. We've got a lot of special charge for the jet here, so they're going to be going for a lot of missiles. Object shredder, yeah, not a really huge... You'll know that they're using Inksaver sub for the bombs, because that's the most effective part of the weapon, other than the special. But, so this is Rainmaker. So they're going to rush for the pop here. FTWin is able to get it, but Bran, who has been extremely effective this entire tournament on the Rapid Blaster here, getting a pick on the side here. This is an option for if you're not going to get the pop. Like, a lot of the time you can just look at the weapon comps and be like, we've got a blaster, we've got a weapon that has to get really, really close to the Rainmaker shield to pop it. This probably isn't safe to go for compared to the amount of paint that they've got. Let's just try and position for a pick. And they do, and they try to angle for a location where there's going to be a player painting the Rainmaker shield, and so they're able to kind of pick it off from there. So this is kind of a smart thing to do if you know that you're not going to be able to get the pop. One of the things, I was about to talk about comps and I got sidetracked, but one of the things that was really interesting to me about this LAN is that it's one of the first LANs in recent memory where I just am not surprised by most of the weapon comps that they're running. A lot of what they're running has been meta for a while. We're not seeing much that's really out of the ordinary other than this guy here. K-Machine has been good since it released. K-Gal got a huge buff recently in its painting power that has made it really viable, and I think its accuracy got improved as well. Junior has always been good. Nautilus has been good ever since it's gotten its projectile speed buff. Vanilla Jet, you're starting to see a lot of, especially in Rainmaker, because people are liking the Toxic Mist for slowing the Rainmaker carrier down. That's a really helpful sub in that particular scenario, and missiles are just really, really strong. Like, it's never bad to have missiles on your team. We've talked about K-Gal, and then The Rapid Pro Deco is something that there's a lecture by FLC. He goes on at length about that weapon and how he hates it because he thinks it's just an answer to the E-Leader, and he thinks E-Leader shouldn't be played, and so that this shouldn't have a place in the meta, but it's got armor. It's definitely not bad. It's just a little bit more passive, but it is very long range. It's good for poke, and if you've got teammates who are going to be able to push up or do damage from a long range, hitting like an indirect with this can combo into somebody else's damage and get some picks from really far away really safely. And that's kind of the idea that's happening here, although it looks like this one's unassisted. Okay, so we'll see. I think the silver arrow spray, they're just painting for special. One of the things that I'm looking at is just staring at the top of the screen here for who has special and how close they are to special, and that might, help you determine, oh, this person's probably just going to paint for special. And it'll also inform you, like, okay, this team's got a pretty big special advantage, and if they have a pick, I'm probably going to anticipate that they pop some specials right now and try to start pushing the Rainmaker. So we'll see if that happens. There's a special getting popped, and they're putting it on the path. They're trying to take the Rainmaker. The Rainmaker has been picked up. Rainmaker gets picked up by the Jet Squelcher here, probably because the Arrow Spray has special, and so they're not trying to waste that special, because if you pick the Rainmaker up and you have special, well, say goodbye to that special, because you're either winning the game or you're dying, and you're not going to be able to use your special until one of those two things happens. Or until one of those things happens, I guess. So Jared and Bran are just absolute monsters. Like, Jared he impressed me so much with his play in this whole tournament. Like, absolute legend. You can carry a team with the arrow spray on it, for crying out loud. Like, look at him. He just dove into a 1v3 with like minimal support from his range blaster here and got 2 picks out of it. That's dumb. You shouldn't be able to do that. He's just so good.
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned something about saying goodbye to special if you pick up the Rainmaker. In a team environment where you sort of designate people who are favored to pick up the Rainmaker, is there some thought that goes into like kits that you take? For instance, like you could see like Rain being a good part of your kit if you're the designated carrier, so that you can just toss it and pick it up. Is that ever like thought of, or is that kind of like tangential?
Most specials, they're not going to take super long to activate. So I don't think it's as much a consideration of how long the special takes to use. I guess like with something like a hammer, you wouldn't want that to be the Rainmaker carrier necessarily. But most of the time what you're going to see is they pop the special and then they pick up the Rainmaker. So you especially see that with armor weapons. They'll just pop armor for the rest of their team so they don't waste it, and then they'll pick it up, or they'll fire missiles and then pick it up, something like that.
That makes sense. Yeah, okay.
Usually it's going to be the backliner or the support picking it up, because the frontliners are going to be best at pushing the enemy team away from in front of the Rainmaker. They're also probably going to be the best at painting for the Rainmaker carrier in most cases, because they're probably like a shooter or something. So you're going to want those to be out in front of the Rainmaker. It's not their job to pick it up. It's their job to escort it.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
So Brock's saying, I've always been an advocate of arrow spray. We can agree to disagree there. It says, this is so underrated. They sent the 52 to wall off an important section while having the arrow spray paint behind them. 52 can stall for so long, and having paint behind it helps it even further. Arrow spray in the meantime is getting its special really fast, and we'll be able to further push them out of that once the 52 runs low on ink. So yeah, one thing to be thinking about when you're a paint support is that you can't necessarily push in like a frontliner can to get access to paint. So having the frontliners in front of you and painting the area behind them might be all that you've got for getting that special, but you are still helping your frontliners because you're giving them an escape route. You're giving them a way back. And you're also making it so that if they get pushed back, the opposing team can't chase them as fast because they don't have their own ink to chase them through. If you have an armor on and pick the Rainmaker, does the armor immediately get removed? Yes. It is impossible to have armor while holding the Rainmaker at all. If you activate it and then pick up the Rainmaker, it should still go out to your teammates, but you will not get it yourself. All right. Kyo here, it's interesting. Kyo, I've always known for being he's a slosher player for sure, but I've always known him as more of a tri-slosher main, like someone who plays the up close ambush playstyle. It seemed like he's been leaning more towards things like the K Machine and the Soda Slosher lately, the longer range sloshers. So that I guess is a little bit interesting. It is a very long range dominated meta right now, or mid range, I guess I should say. Lots of Bamboo, lots of Nautilus, lots of CDS, lots of Squeezer, K52, K-Pro, things that have a lot of like mid-range but can still move around pretty well and don't have like a charge time. We should probably break down that push. So let's take a look at this for a second. They get a pick on the 52. So they have the advantage right now. They also have an Inkjet that they can push in with. And they've popped armor. So they have 2 specials. The enemy team has no specials. And the enemy team has 1 down. This is perfect pushing situation. They are going to be able to create an advantage for themselves by having someone... Basically, every push on this map, you're always going to see some midliner, sitting down here and harassing over the side, because this is a separate angle that the defenders have to deal with. If they can just focus all of their attention in this direction, it's a lot easier to shut this push down than if they have to be like looking over here and then looking over here and then looking over here and then looking over here to not get hit from both sides. So Kyo is taking up that kind of flank position. From here, they could also flank around to the far left if they get the opportunity and see any utility for that. Most of the time, though, the push for Rainmaker is going to be so fast that they're not going to really go for that. But it's especially nice having a slosher here because you can get up over the wall. So that's super nice. You've also got, this is one of the best like Inkjet locations, I think, in the game. Like, at least in terms of how much power it gets on this particular map, and even especially in this particular mode. This is an area where it's really hard to push in as the attacking team, and being able to just jet in over the wall and get the added height advantage of this wall is super duper good, and it helps clear these players out and force them out of the path of the Rainmaker really well. And Biscuit is just an absolute god on this Nautilus that he's using for that Inkjet. Absolutely one of the best. You definitely want to be watching that guy. Bagel is another one that we'll see Bagel later on. So what Kyo is doing here, he's got a splashdown. He knows that there are teammates here, and he knows that there's a bomb rush going off toward his teammates. So when he splashdowns here, not only, is he safe doing that splashdown because it's impossible to shoot him out of the air from a super jump, but he's also trying to clear out all of these curling bombs. So, haha, your special doesn't matter. I'd just like to point out really quickly the KAs here. So teammate has 7, teammate has 5, Aerospray only has 1. Chin scratch. Jared popping off in the middle here, so that's going to give them an opportunity. So there are a couple of teammates that they can see out in front here. It looks like the rest of the team is watching this area, so I'm guessing Jared is probably going to try and like clear those guys out. Yep. He sees someone drop down from the railing out of his peripheral vision, immediately snaps to it. Should be able to get that. Ooh, trades. Probably didn't have to trade, but good job on Kyo capitalizing on his missing shots. Pops armor. All right. So the Aerospray, I believe, has now picked up the Rainmaker here. Able to get a pick there. They're going to booyah. No, it's not the Aerospray that took the Rainmaker. They're curling rushing in. And that curling rush, that is able to get them the earlier pop on the Rainmaker shield. And they're able to push it to a slight lead there. So that, is one advantage of that Aerospray. Just, it's going to get that special really quickly, and that special can be good in, positions like these. Bomb Rush is really good for Rainmaker, not only because, it takes a lot of space away from your opponents, which is what a Bomb Rush is normally good for, but also because you're able to pop the Rainmaker shield faster with it. Bombs are just one of the most efficient ways to take out the Rainmaker shield, so it's a really good thing for it. So we see Kyo pushing in here, has to splash down to keep himself safe. Backs away. There are missiles on all 4 teammates. They should be able to move decently well and not die to this, but Starburst is pushing into mid here. Here's the curling rush. He's forced to jump out because he doesn't have a main weapon that can deal with an inkjet or any of the other teammates around him. Meanwhile, they're trying to set up for a push on the left here. The left is a sneakier push. It's a little bit easier to shut down because you have to contend with the enemy's height advantage for so long. But, if you catch the opponents rotating in the wrong direction, it can be a sneaky way to get some points. I don't think it ends up working out for them because Jared drops here and gets a really good pick. Takes a great angle on Kyo, by the way. Something worth noting is, like, he drops behind Kyo and at an angle, so it's really hard for Kyo to, like, snap around and have his aim on right away. He's testing Kyo's ability to adjust his aim. It's definitely not going to get pre-fired from that angle. Let's take a look at the KAs here. 2 on the Aerospray, 13 and 9 on the other weapons. I don't know, just saying. And the Junior has more armors than the Aerospray does, so even the other team's weapon that is just there to farm for specials is getting more of those specials. Or living long enough to use them is another possible thing there. And you notice that bomb right there. That, I believe, has to have been the Junior. So the Junior is exerting pressure at this range. If there were an Aerospray over here, they could not exert pressure at that range. Yes, I know that this is propaganda, Brock. But I'm going to propagandize. All right. So FTWin has a left side flank from Kyo. They have an inkjet over the top. They've got a pick. This is a really good look for them. They need this Booyah to stop the Rainmaker long enough for the rest of their team to respawn. And it looks like they are able to get it. Although... Okay, there's this bomb rush here. This bomb rush does a very good job of stalling the Rainmaker, I will say. I think the Nautilus probably could have pushed them if not for the Rapid being here. But, I mean, the Nautilus can push a lot of weapons. I wouldn't say that that's necessarily just the fault of the Aerospray here. But they are able to stop that push for the time being. Purple team is regrouping in mid. Right now, the Aerospray, is not in a position to push forward. Number 1, because they've got a teammate down. Number 2, because they have such short range and there are 3 teammates in front of them. So they're just kind of sitting back here and throwing bombs while they have plenty of their own ink around them and they know that their teammates are nearby. But they're not really able to push in and get a lot of paint. A lot of the time, the weapons that paint the most are actually frontliners rather than support players because the frontliners have the ability to push into enemy paint and they're the ones that are going to be doing that the most. So, something you see out of really passive Junior or like Aerospray players is that at the beginning of the game, they paint really fast, and then they don't get specials nearly as quickly, because to be able to find paint to shoot over, they need to go into areas that are a little bit less safe, and they're not as willing to do that. I'm going to look at what Brock is saying here. Problem with the arrow pick, though, when put into a 1v1 or 1v2 position, it just gets dumpstered on. And if you don't have your special, you're in a worse position. Yep. Up goes the inkjet. 2 of the players jump out here. That's something that at lower levels, a lot of players are not accustomed to doing. And it's something that can really wreck you on Rainmaker, Humpback in particular. If the enemy team gets past you on the right-hand side here, if you're not able to defend this push, then it's much faster to just super jump back to spawn and drop down from here to defend than it is to try and run all the way around or all the way behind them or something. There are a lot of knockouts that happen in like S to S plus level play, where it just happens because the other team got around and nobody jumped back or kept between the Rainmaker and the goal. Of course, it's not going to happen on this team. They are back in time to defend, but 3 of them went down. They all kind of dropped it down a little bit desperately there. Jared is the only one that's left. He gets 1v1 by Kyo, and it's game over. So, hey, look at that. The arrow spray lost. Huge surprise. Anyway. That's enough dunking on the arrow spray for now. Sploosh 7. Yes! Sabah. Was it Sibo that you went by? Shoot, I'm forgetting.
Cibola?
Cibola, I think it was. You're right. That is my opinion on that. You know, if you're going to run a spray shooter, run one, number one, that 3 shots instead of 5 shotting. That, you know, it moves just as fast, has a lethal bomb that goes off pretty quickly. Like, splat bombs are amazing for it. And one that can kind of just go hammer when it gets into the back line. Because I think that there are a lot of situations where a curling rush is absolutely useless. Like, there are only certain points where you can use it. It has to be relatively flat ground for those to be able to go anywhere and not just bounce harmlessly off a wall. Curling bombs are also just some of the easiest bombs in the game to avoid. So, really, a lot of the time when a curling rush goes off, the other team is just going to back up a little bit, and that's all that you're going to accomplish with it. You're not going to be able to split them up in like different directions like you can with something like missiles or a booyah bomb. You just don't have as much kill threat or displacement on them, I think, as you would with other specials. To be honest, the only reason I think they won the other time they pulled out the arrow was because of 1, they adapted to FTWin better, and by then, and 2, they had the momentum. I think one of the other things that they actually did really well was making the arrow spray the Rainmaker carrier, because Ice picks it up, I think, in every instance in this game, and Ice, I think, is going to have a lot more of an impact with the missiles and the long-range shots on this map than the arrow spray will getting around the corner there. That 2, which makes no sense. Yeah, I agree there. Anyway, we're going to move on to talk about those of you who know Chara, Pro Chara, was a guest on a video, the upcoming Top 500 video, and we're going to watch some of their team. This is a really cool match between them and Arctic Moon. Arctic Moon has been on the come up lately. They were down at like a Div 3, Div 2 team when I got into the scene. So they were, you know, stronger than us still, but we would also, you know, have some games that got fairly close. We were able to get picks off them, things like that, but they've since leveled up like crazy, and now they're up at the very top level of NA play. It's very cool to see. So this is Arctic Moon versus Climb here. So Climb, Chara here on the Brella, we talked about earlier, the latency thing. One of the interesting picks here is Bagel's Mini. Bagel is known as being like the foremost Nautilus player, was playing the weapon even before it got its crazy buff. And so they are known for that particular weapon and play style. And some of their movement in this game is just absolutely gorgeous. Like I'm gonna point some of it out when we get there. We've got a Dynamo. This is the Armor Dynamo, and we've got a Squiffer. Squiffer is relatively popular right now because it splats really quickly. You know, it's a very dangerous 1v1 weapon for someone who's got good aim. And it also has armor, which is a nice little perk. Okay, yeah, I'm reminding myself of just a couple of things that I wanted to talk about when we get to this match. But, okay, so on this map, Arctic Moon chooses to split up 2 and 2, which is a very common rollout scheme. You've got the here. Let's back up for just a second so we can see the overhead. So you've got the 2 zones here, and you need control of both of them at the same time. The enemy strongholds are going to be like hereabouts. Like this is where you're going to go when you've respawned and the opponent is trying to lock you out because you've got all this height advantage and this cover. So this is a really strong location. So being able to control maybe this area in front of here will make them think twice about sitting here for too long. And then if you're able to push around in this direction, you can maybe take control of this area here and make it harder for them to come out on the left-hand side and try and flank around or something when they get locked out. This map is really prone to lockouts, but because it's a double zones map, it's a lot harder to maintain the zone when somebody does get by you. So it's usually pretty exciting for splat zones. All right. So they go 2 and 2, and they're working very close together here. They get a wall up on the conveyor so that they can just stand on the conveyor, get this height advantage, and use the wall. This is a really cool team set play, the kind of thing that you can only do when you have a coordinated team. And Twig sees, okay, well, they're trying to take shots at me from over there. I'm not going to mess with it. Drops back down, and it's fine because his teammate was able to get a pick on the other side there. They're missiled, and one thing about being missiled in this situation is that you now know the other team also has vision of you. So it's not just I have to watch out for the missiles, it's if I push towards the enemy team, I might be pushing towards someone who knows where I am and is shooting at me, and also have no retreat because the missiles are falling behind me and painting up the path behind me. So pushing forward like Twig does there is something you only want to do if you know no one's watching you. But gets a trade, and that trade is arguably better for them because they get it on zone, and so it paints the zone, and it's going to take climb longer to get control back. Since they were down 1, I don't know. It probably helped. So Bagel and Chara are doing a similar kind of set play thing here, where Chara puts up the shield on this side, and then Bagel is free to charge the mini whenever he wants. He's not going to get threatened by something in front of him, and so he's able to just unload as many shots as he wants to with that really long range, really fast fire rate. Splatlings are extremely powerful while they do have charge, and the weakness is when they don't have charge. And so Chara is accounting for that weakness where Bagel doesn't have charge by having the shield up in front of him. And they're able to get that pick basically for free, and they should be able to get the zone from that. I would just like to point out Twig's movement here is low-key very optimized and sick for getting away from this bad position. So like they see him out over there, I think, as the camera switches over to him. And he notices he's getting shot at here, so he jumps to throw this person's aim off, and then he goes into squid form onto this ramp so that he's below the level of this platform here, and it's going to take some very precise fall-off shots to be able to hit him from around this cover. So that was some very cool movement that he did there to get out of that. Bubbles are going off on this side. I'm going to talk later about why Squeezer is broken, but this is one of those reasons like, oh shoot, somebody's ambushing me that I didn't see. Time to put out my basically invincible wall of death. And they just get map control back for free between that and the Booyah Bomb they throw out. Able to get a trade off of getting ambushed. They do go 3 down though. Really good baller play from Leotos there. Ooh.
We have a quick question, by the way, from Spark. Do you have a different hitbox in squid form in ink versus not in ink?
I don't know about that. I would guess no, because I think you do. Interesting. So I would guess that it's bigger out of the ink than it is in the ink, based on my intuition, but I'll let them speak to that. Anyway. So Ross just kind of dips out of there, doesn't want anything to do with that Dynamo. It is my personal opinion that Dynamo is viable if you never miss a shot. If every single swing that you commit to actually hits what you intended it to hit, then it's great. If you ever miss, then it's probably not the weapon for you because you're going to get punished for that basically every time at a high level. So Bagel able to drop down, get that pick there. You'll notice that he's using the cover here very carefully. He's like charging up on the right side and then moving left only when he has charge. Out come the bubbles. And you see he has to run away as soon as that bomb goes down. That bomb is the warning of the Squeezer's Insta-Pop combo. For those who don't know about the Squeezer, or he does end up fighting the Squeezer here. Yeah, okay, so the Squeezer comes around the corner after the 52. This is really good, like, aggro juggling that they're doing. Something that I wish, you know, I could teach everybody in this game is when somebody is shooting at your teammate, you should shoot at them because they're shooting at your teammate. They're committed to aiming at your teammate. They don't have their aim on you. They're not paying attention to you. They don't know you're coming. So that is one of the easiest fights in the game to win. And what's happening here is the 52 drew aggro and then probably, you know, got hit for a shot or two and just dipped. And now they're not going to get splatted, but their teammate is coming into a more advantageous fight because they have the advantage here. So you'll see they threw out a splat bomb. The way this combo works is you put a splat bomb on the ground in front of you, and then when you pop the bubbles and put the first bubble out there, that bomb is going to hit your bubble, which is going to start, you know, do some initial damage to it. And then because you threw the bomb before you popped the bubble, or before you used the special, I should say, the word pop is complicated here, because you threw the bomb before you used the special, you get all of that ink back. You get your ink tank refilled after you use a special. So you get bomb, bubble, bomb, and that immediately will pop the bubble, especially if you've got object shredder. I don't know if it works without object shredder, or it might be easy to just paint the bubble and prevent it from popping instantly. But with object shredder, very sure thing. And so Bagel here, you know, he's got all this orange paint, but as soon as he sees this special, he needs to just book it in the opposite direction. And you can see the bad position that he's in all of a sudden because Ross came in with his Squeezer and bubbles. On top of that, Ross has range advantage because the Squeezer has stupid long range when you tap the button instead of pressing and holding it. And so he can just be up here with this height advantage shooting down at Bagel, who can't get past because if he does, this bubble pops and blows him up. Like, this is a really, really tough fight for Bagel to win. He wins it finally because armor comes out and because Ross doesn't get his shots on. And then the movement he has to get out of here is just really clutch. Really great angle he takes. He reads that the burst bomb is going to be thrown more horizontally, trying to cover him using the conveyor for cover. So he actually angles off towards the zone and he's able to get away. That's just nuts. Now, he isn't able to get that pick because his opponent jumped. Lots of splats go down. The spectator cam, it's worth noting, is not great for tournament play. If you really want to watch a Splatoon match and be able to tell what's going on and why the other team is, you know, why which team is winning, you want to watch the overhead and not the player cam. The player cam is literally just there because you want to see the super cool, exciting, hype plays. And that's all it's there for. It's for the highlight reel, basically. But I've always found that it's better to understand the game from the overhead because you can see more of what's going on at any point in time. It is also useful having the player cam so that you can see their individual decision-making process. Like you can see what they see. But in a coordinated team environment, you're getting callouts constantly that give you information about what's going on elsewhere on the map. And so you almost have that overhead view level of information. You've almost got all of that that you're aware of. Unless there's some like crazy shark happening that nobody caught out, you basically know what's going on at all times because you've got teammates feeding that information to you through the headsets. I'm going to take a quick pause here and just have a look at chat, see if there are any questions or anything. In Splatoon 1, your squid hitbox was bigger. Not sure about in 2. All right. So let's look at the game state here because it looks like nothing is happening right now, basically. Like, Climb is able to get a couple of picks there thanks to some damage that Bagel was able to get down. So between Leotis and I think that's Chara back there, they're able to just completely take control of the zone. Now, because they have control of zone, what they're going to do next is they're going to paint up around the zones, and they're going to paint for special. The reason they're painting up around the zones is so that their opponents will take longer to get to the zones. And the side effect of that is that while they're painting that, they're getting special so that when their opponents try to push in, they have more firepower to stop the push than their opponents have to displace them. And so the hope there is that they're able to put up a better fight and potentially maintain the zone. So Leotos knows someone has dropped there. They're backing up a little bit just to make sure they have paint control and that their teammates are with them. They're starting to see that there's something developing on this side, so we're probably going to see Climb rotating over to this side pretty quickly here. And you can see the Dynamo is now in position to watch this side, and they've got the Squiffer still watching from there. Bunch of bombs going out. The Mini is out here in the middle, ready to meet anyone who's trying to paint this zone. So you can see that because they saw the opposing positions, their whole team is mobilizing to be ready to defend where the opponents are going to push. Missiles go out to try to displace them, but they're just going to rush in with the bubbles here. And they do get a pick with the bubbles. And look at this. Baller goes off right next to him, sits in a bubble, completely fine, able to get the pick. Bubbles are broken. So you can see that Climb is now starting to create sort of a base camp up here because I guess they're at the summit of it if you want to use height metaphors. You know, they're trying to rendezvous back at this point so that they can push back in together. Tay, unfortunately, exposes themselves a little bit too much to the Squeezer because the Squeezer has broken range and can just shoot them from up there. Squeezer is quickly becoming kind of my anti-arrow spray. It's the weapon that I'm like, man, that's just broken and everyone should play it. Very difficult weapon, though. You have to tap that button repeatedly. It's another weapon where if you have like wrist problems from like tapping buttons repeatedly, that's one that you need to stay away from because of how you have to tap to get it going quickly. Brock is saying the bubble canceled the knockback from the explosion, so it was really smart using it to protect themselves. Yeah, like not only do they have to protect themselves from the damage, which would have splatted them by itself, they also have to prevent themselves from getting pushed off the cliff from the explosion, and the bubble does both of those for them, so that was all really good. Okay, so missiles go out. This is a really good use of missiles. I think, like, basically every missile that I see Bagels throwing out here is a significant threat to the other team. They get a lot of players that are all stacked on top of each other, and as soon as the missiles go out, their teammates are always rushing forward with them. So even if they don't get a pick like they just did on Nick here, their teammates can often follow up on the typical indirect damage. Like a lot of the time, if you know a missile lands pretty close to you, you're gonna take a little bit of indirect damage at least, and so other weapons might be able to follow up on that, like less charged Squiffer shot, for example. Baller goes down to take this zone. There was a bomb right at his feet when he got here. And look at that. He's outranging the Squeezer. Broken weapon. Anyway. And I'm not doing this to detract from Ross or anything. Like, Ross is an excellent player. Very smart for choosing the Squeezer. And, you know, taking full advantage of what the Squeezer can do for you. No weapon is easy in this game. It's not like, you know, oh, that weapon's brain dead. That's a stupid thing to say about any weapon ever. What I am doing here is advocating for more people to be using the foil Squeezer because I think we're seeing it get very good results, and it's very, you know, clear to see why it's impactful and why it's effective. So Char is trying to push in here with this bomb rush, but gets the bubbles popped on him. And it looks like Arctic Moon is going to clean this up and get the lead with a full wipe. Ooh, an ad. Let's go. Pog. Okay, DoorDash ad. Dude in his bathrobe. He's getting a bunch of...
So good.
Is he getting milk carton? Why is he buying a milk carton
I think it's
on
like
DoorDash?
It's like groceries. Like you could get groceries from them.
Okay. Well, shout outs to Harris Bank. Thanks for sponsoring us on this stream.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my favorite part of the Squid School section. The ad read.
Woo. It's like we're a major esports org running a major tournament. Something like that. We get
Something
to
like that.
we get to pretend to be enthusiastic and shill for Xfinity, even though someone's Xfinity Wi-Fi is probably causing them to disconnect from a ranked game.
Ah. Yay! Anyways.
Get fiber, by the way. Very nice. Ooh, 2 players go down on the left-hand side for Arctic Moon there. So this lead is going to be, or this maintenance of zone is going to be short-lived. They're able to rush in, take care of that very quickly. You can tell that Climb kind of have positions figured out. Like, okay, I have 2 teammates on the left already. I don't need to fill in there. I'm going to move over to the right-hand side. And here's Chara teaming with Bagel again, pairing up with the same people. They've just kind of got that as part of their game plan, that they're going to work with the same person. Able to get a trade, and a trade is fine in this situation because a trade just means that you maintain zone for a little bit longer while both players respawn and nothing really changes. You maintain the status quo. Char is starting to get bombed out, so he's going to have to back up. They might be able to take this left side zone. They pop armor. But they do have a Dynamo to contend with. One of the big advantages of Dynamo on this map is that if they're up on the conveyor, they can just do big horizontal swings out over the edge. And there's not a lot that most weapons can do about it. They need to get like good fall-off shots. Like maybe the Squeezer could do something about it because of its range. But the Dynamo is going to outrange most weapons that are trying to shoot it from there. So it's just like a really, really safe place for it to be. Especially if it's got teammates on either side to prevent it from getting flanked. So if Climb is able to maintain control of the zones for another 3 seconds or so, they get lead. But it's looking like Arctic Moon has good control here. They're running Chara down. The way to, that's a great way to beat Umbrella is just have one player constantly shooting at it and have the other player come in from another direction. And that way, the Umbrella can't get away because it can't move as fast while it has the Umbrella shield out. And it can't fire back until it takes the Umbrella shield down. It has to, eventually drop the shield so that it doesn't shoot the shield out at you. So you're going to be able to shoot it eventually. And with 2 people constantly shooting at it, eventually you're going to just get it down. It's not just like invincible. It just takes a little bit of time and setup to take out. We'll also see a situation if we get the chance later on where throwing a bubbles high like that is really good because you're able to pick someone off from over the top of ledges. Oh, okay. Leotos, some of these positions that they're pushing into are only safe because they have teammates nearby. Like, those shots going down over there, if they'd been alone, they could have just gotten rushed. But they know that they have teammates behind them, so they're able to push a little bit more aggressively up. All right, they're popping a bunch of specials. There goes Armor, there goes Booyah. Arctic Moon trying to regain control here because they need to keep the lead. They've only got a few seconds to do it, and they need to cap here, which looks like they're going to be able to do. They got enough picks from that. Good stuff by Bagel. Bagel not able to get away from Shinex, though. Shinex, Shinex. I've heard him called both. I don't really know. And now Tay is in the unenviable position of being the only person alive to try and paint the zone and keep overtime for his team because both of his teammates go down there, and that's probably going to be it. I'm going with he, him pronouns just because it's a male octoling there, but I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Alrighty. So let's take a look at one more game before we call it here. I want to look at probably... Yeah, I want to look at Game 2 of Grand Finals here between Starburst and FTWin. This is a heck of a Grand Finals that I would encourage you to go see. The context here is, again, FTWin does not lose majors. So, Starburst definitely coming in as the underdogs out of this. But, FTWin not having quite their typical lineup here. So we've got Jared on the VDS. The CDS and VDS, both dually squelchers, but this is the one with the missiles. And I think this one has point sensor as well. Then we've got King Dog, rather than playing the Aerospray, playing a much more sensible weapon in the 96. And Ice, the custom jet is going to get a lot of Stingrays, and Stingray is going to be really, really good for this mode in particular. And it's not bad on this map, honestly. Like, wide maps tend to be worse for Stingray because it's easier to dodge with verticality and your ability to move left, right, but he definitely makes it work. And then Bran has been running rapid blasters basically the whole tournament and getting a lot of impact off of those. And then FTWin. So FTWin is known for running a very aggressive comp. They are basically the reason that the West, and I'm very oversimplifying this, but they are basically the reason that the West currently really likes backlineless comps because they're the best team in North America and have been for a long time, and that's what they run. So they've been running a lot of K52. There are some matches where they run double K52. I personally don't think that actually works as well against the many midline composition that Starburst has been running. But still, very powerful weapon. Biscuit, one of the... Mm-hmm.
Bab does not appreciate your arrow spray dissing.
This arrow spray one more time and I'm gonna beat you up. Okay, come do it. I dare you.
Do it. Do it. Bet you won't.
Yeah. Twig is insane. So all of these players are insane. It's worth noting. Like, Jared is an absolute monster. Like, this is Ant, King Dog, that wacky name, that goofy goober name, is a player who goes by Ant normally, and so they're a mainstay of this roster. Ice is an absolute legend, probably the best backliner in North America. I don't know that there's an argument about that. And then Bran has just been extremely impactful on these rapid blasters, so all of them are legends, and then these guys just don't lose. So super, super good players to watch if you play any of these weapons that they're playing. Bagel, like we said, very good to watch for Nautilus, kind of one of the pioneers of that weapon in the North American scene. But Biscuit is also just a legend. It's kind of funny that Bagel and Biscuit, the breakfast foods, just do really well on mid-range splatlings. So, bit of a scrappy fight for mid here. We've got Keo just kind of pushing in like crazy. By the way, FTWin does not stand for the win, like you would expect based on a knowledge of antiquated internet abbreviations. It actually stands for feed to win, which is their philosophy. Keo, he kind of plays, I don't want to say skirmisher, because what a skirmisher normally does is distract and not engage and not commit. He distracts by engaging and committing. He just kind of holds forward. And the reason it works is that his teammates are all cracked, and as soon as he picks any fight, they're there with him, capitalizing on whatever he's done to displace the enemy team. So if he is able to just stay alive even for any length of time in a 2v1, his team is probably going to be able to capitalize on that and at least trade back for him, probably take advantage of it. So Keo just kind of throws himself into situations like this. You'll see him do that very aggressively. And that's something that he's known for. That's something that a lot of people like about watching him. King Dog able to get the trade by jumping into the water there. Didn't actually land, but definitely would have fallen in there. Now out comes the Ray. And the Ray is going to be a huge buzzkill for FTWin here. Because it's just kind of hard to push through this. The Ray gets the pick on that and also on that. So now, without even really getting that much into the fray, Ice has 3 picks to his name. And Push is just kind of dead in the water. They really need to be able to like push Ice and get rid of the Ray that he wins himself before they're going to be able to get a lot done. Because at this level, it's just going to take that long for a player of this caliber to be able to splat someone with it. It's you either, jump out of this position somehow, like maybe you jump off from snipe and then super jump to a teammate, or you're going to go down. So Ice gets a great pick there and even has time to... He doesn't quite get the second one, but you can actually see the second one jumping out for a couple of frames there. So they've just taken someone out and also forced someone to jump. And it's from this one solo play that they get here that the team is able to make an insane push forward. So they've already got someone on the top left over here. They've got a player, I think, right there in that location, ready to push up over the top from behind. Bran hits a direct at point blank range with the Rapid Blaster, which is not easy to do at all. Jared is distracting 2D long enough that they're able to push over for a 22-point push. And Bran just stays in here. He just keeps going in. That's kind of suicidal, but you know what? I love the energy. So...
got a question from J Dragon. What does it take to get into Riptide? What's the main criteria that's needed to be met?
Physically go there and pay to sign up and be a part of the tournament. It's a Smash tournament, and Splatoon is added in there as an event. So it's not like it's an invitational. If you want to go to a tournament, you literally just sign up. You don't have to be X rank. You don't even have to be B rank. Like, just get some friends together and join. And, you know, you should expect to lose. Like, there are some very, very strong teams that are playing, and you'll probably be a pretty low seed, and you might end up playing against one of these really strong teams early on in the tournament. But in terms of, you know, whether you're allowed to join or anything, there's no barrier to entry like that.
Very cool.
Kurudo. No one can predict you if even you don't know what you're doing, Kyo, probably. I would not be surprised if he has a tweet saying something like that. That sounds like it's in Kyo's character. Anyway, so something I want to point out about this comp is that it's much more defensive, Starburst's comp here. They've got weapons that can kind of sit back, kite back, don't have to, you know, do a lot to apply pressure from a distance. They've got a Rapid, which is pretty long range. They've got a Jet, which is very long range, especially with the Stingray, that's global range. They've got a 96 that is going to play really passively because it can't move super fast, and it can build armor, so it can do things passively while it's not engaged. And we've got the CDS, or the VDS rather, which is the single best kiting weapon in the entire game. Possibly behind Tetris, but it has much longer range than Tetris, so I would probably give it to the CDS. So these weapons are really hard to just like rush into and push. They're going to kind of sit back and hit you from distance, and you need to kind of flank them or something. Well, that's really good against a comp that has all frontline and is at a deficit. Because these guys don't have to push in anymore. They don't have to take risks. They don't have to go for routes where they might be flanked. They can kind of just sit in very safe positions behind lots of paint, because they have lots of paint on this comp, except for the Rapid, I guess. And they can just kind of play defense and throw bombs and be annoying as heck and wait for Ice to farm a Ray and take out the Rainmaker carrier. From this point on, Starburst has basically won the match already. Now, the risk that they take is that if they don't get a crazy fast push like that and take lead early on, a lead that they can hold, it's really hard for them to push forward and really get in there and force the Rainmaker through the choke points. And so that's kind of the trade-off. With aggressive comps, you're able to make things happen at the drop of a hat, but your defense is weaker. With a long-range comp like this, you have trouble pushing, but once you've got a good push, oh man, it is the easiest thing to hold on to. Alrighty. By the way, Riptide is annual. It only happens once a year at most. So if you're looking for other tournaments, you know, don't let that be the only one that you're looking for. It's definitely worth it once you get a, you know, competitive team and you've gotten some foothold in the community, you know people. It's so wonderful to be able to see them in person and to really, you know, get to know people. It's great for networking. You meet scrim partners there. You're like, oh, hey, I've just kind of, you know, met this person who's a famous YouTuber. There's a player who is now subbing for the team that I'm putting together because we just met at Riptide, you know, cool stuff like that. But it's not the, you know, the only event that's going to be going on, and it's not the only one you should be thinking about if you're getting into competitive play. Yes, I did hear about Climb disbanding. That's, I think, it just got announced like yesterday on their Twitter or something. I I'm going to look back at that and see what FTWin is thinking there, because it feels like they're kind of just feeding, but it might be that they don't know that someone's there. I don't know. There's a jet right here, so they know that that's there. And 2D is just kind of pushing anyway. Leafy's behind them. Kyo's not in a position to help at all. I don't know what the thought process is pushing there. I feel like they need to get more people in front of the Rainmaker before they try something like this. Maybe their goal is to intentionally suicide it there and then pop it to get paint control in this area. That's something FLC has talked about doing. But at the numbers deficit and with this many people looking at it, I don't know that they're going to get the pop. And they've backed up away from it, so that's clearly not their plan. And now the Ray comes in to kill all their fun. This is one special that I definitely would like to not see in Splatoon 3. Beautiful Inkjet Direct there, though. You can kind of see Ice. He tries to go for it here. He's like, I bet I can hit that. And then Biscuit's like, lol, no. So you saw the shot was off and then Ice ran into it, right? That's just a movement read. That's so beautiful. I love me a good Inkjet Direct. Just takes out Jared, using that height advantage to get, take advantage of the range. And maybe Jared was missing. I don't know. It didn't look like it, but it's possible. Even if Jared is hitting shots, though, the Nautilus splats faster than it. So as long as Biscuit knows he's in range, that's a good fight to take. Okay, he's able to get the indirect shots. And so this is another good example of, so notice, talking to Avery here, he inkjets from behind cover here. So this landing, his teammates can be there watching it, and it's behind this, so the opponents have to push like all the way around to get at it. Notices that there are shots coming down here, so he boosts up. Now he's over the top of the Stingray, and he's putting more distance between him and these opponents, so it's harder for them to hit him. Then he drops back down. You saw he squidded down for a little bit there.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of doing this up-down thing to make them miss shots. He's able to get his second shot that way, and then I think he gets a trade. No, he doesn't quite get the trade. He could have gotten the trade if he'd gotten a better indirect, I think, on King Dog there. But okay, and Ant is able to get that. That's a beautiful pick there. Great use of cover. Notices that his this opponent overextended to go after him, and then he's going to be able to punish this jump as well. So that's a huge swing for Starburst there. That's a really good defense. FTWin just totally going to have to regroup after that. And that's all Starburst want FTWin to be doing the entire game. Starburst has no intention anymore of pushing. Pushing is a risk at this point. Pushing makes it so that they might get wiped and get put into a position where FTWin has special advantage and has the Rainmaker in their base. Because that's what would happen if they pushed and just all got wiped. What they're going to do instead is take really safe positions and run the clock out. They're just going to say, hey, you want to get the Rainmaker? Well, it's all the way back here in our base, and you don't have any paint control around here. And if you don't want to get it, then you're going to have to wait like 30 seconds for it to respawn back in mid. And that's time that's ticking off the clock. So by doing this, they give FTWin far fewer chances to equalize the lead. You can see only now, after, we've all been out and almost all got our specials back, is the Rainmaker even going back into mid. Starburst already has an armor for this, but unfortunately they're a little bit split up here. Looks like FTWin is able to just rush Ant down a little bit. But the missiles are going to split them up. That should stall for some time. Brand's in a 1v1 over here. And he's stalling back here. Stalling back here is beautiful, Even if Bran gets splatted right here, what happens? Well, now there are at least 2 members on this hill, so they're nowhere near the Rainmaker. The rest of his team is still near the Rainmaker. So drawing the fight over here is fine. Like, even if he goes down, and I don't think he does. I think he just jumps out. Okay, gets a trade. Yeah, there. Perfect. Like, stalling for time. They don't need to win. They just need to not lose. So, some scrappy fights. And notice what they're doing there. They're not trying to pop the Rainmaker shield. They're trying to paint it part way so that it takes longer for FTWin to paint it back into their color. Starting from the neutral position where it's just yellow, it's, you know, you only have to go half the way as you do if the other team has painted it already. So that's another stall tactic that they're employing there. And with the long range of the 96, they're able to cover this angle over the bunker. They're able to cover this angle over here. And they've got the cover of this area here that they just used to make all the Nautilus shots miss, so they can back up if they need to. Making sure that they don't get rushed over that side. This is just really good defensive positional play. So now the other team has 2 specials here. We noticed the fire flicker up on someone's hair over here, so we know the junior, I believe, is in that position. Actually, no, it might have been the Nautilus. I'm second guessing myself. I thought the Nautilus already had armor, but nope, it's the Nautilus. So they're going in looking for picks, but the 96 or the 96 is able to answer with their own armor, and so these shots are not going to splat this, and the Inkjet doesn't really accomplish that much for him. Good pick. That's running through mid is always a risk because you never know who's watching. So Biscuit able to get something started here, but then gets shut down with the Ray. Again, Killjoy. You try to get something going, Ice is going to have Ray by that time, and no more fun allowed.
Not allowed at all.
The 52 does a good job of at least staying alive and keeping their special for it. But now, Starburst, with this massive advantage they've just won, and with Ice having already blown the special, so not having to save it, is just going to pick it up and run it over here. This is a really good stalling location for the Rainmaker for a couple reasons. One, you have a lot of cover and you have height advantage. And so, you know, even throwing these booyah bombs and these bombs at it, it's... I don't think it goes down to this bomb. Yeah, he's going to be able to stay here and just kind of keep it safe. Also, this is really far away from good pushing locations for FTWin. FTWin don't want to be on the right side of the map. They want to be like on the left or going through the middle. The right side is usually not the best way to go. So having it all the way in this far corner is just the worst thing for them right now. With them having a member down, they're just going to sit here and, again, threaten to run the clock out.
Yeah. It's just a really strategic point.
What they might do is, I think, let's see what they end up doing with it. They're just trying to stay alive. Okay, so if you do splat the Rainmaker carrier in the last 15 seconds and you're behind, that automatically triggers overtime. It's just in the last 15 seconds. So you do actually have time for a comeback push here. The question is whether Starburst is going to give them the opportunity to pull that off. Oh my god, Bran. This is not a weapon that should be able to play this well at close range, but it is. So what he does here is he drops a torpedo at the ground. If you roll this like you could roll a splat bomb, it's just a 60 damage bomb. So really useful in that sense. And now all he could get an indirect, and I think that does like 35 damage or something. And that would almost set this guy up to be splatted. But no, he's just going to hit a direct. Because why not? Actually, I think the indirect actually does more than that. I think the indirect plus torpedo. I don't want to say anything and be wrong, but it's definitely a combo to roll the torpedo and then take a shot to take the guy out. So he does end up going down, but Jared is up in their faces in the chaos and is able to just rush the Rainmaker down, and they're able to win that game and draw even with FTWin. And what happens next? Well, we don't have time to go into what happens next. We're already 10 minutes over as it is, and we're going to call it for the day. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Really appreciate having you guys here. It's a lot of fun going over all of this stuff with you, and I hope that you were all able to learn something from this. If nothing else, I would definitely try to encourage you to watch more high-level competitive play, because that is, you know, basically a free textbook on how to play this game. All you got to do is watch and have your brain active and be thinking, why are they doing that? What is really happening on the map? You know, what's the flow of the game working like at this level? What do I have to do to be able to do what these guys are doing? You learn all sorts of interesting movement tech. Like, there was a really beautiful move that Jared does earlier in the tournament on Wahoo World to drop off of a ledge and paint a wall so that as soon as he gets to that wall, he's going to be able to swim up it. And it's the smoothest movement I've ever seen in my life. You know, really pretty little things like that you're going to be able to pick up from these guys. Definitely recommend watching more of this kind of play and studying this, and developing your own opinion of it so that you can be like, hey, Gem, you're 100% wrong about the Aerospray, and we can argue, and it can be fun.
Very fun.
Thanks for watching, everybody. That's going to be it for us for the night. We'll see you next week with more of our regularly scheduled programming.
All right, y'all. Bye.